Lower thirds is one of the tools you can use to help introduce someone so that it can help the audience know who that person is and what that person does. And in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to do lower thirds in OBS and make it customizable as possible. Okay, so we are now here in OBS, and this is your typical setup where this is a live, or this is already in a live setup. So anyways, if you want to have lower thirds, there are two things you should consider. One is, would you make your overlay of that lower third made in other programs, or you can make it within OBS? And of course, the first one is easy. You can either go on a CANVA Pro or on Photoshop and just create the overlay from there. But first, make sure that there are no texts. There are no texts because the reason why is we want to make everything customizable as possible. So if you want to change any names or any titles, you can just change that within OBS. So how are you gonna do that? So first is I've made something like this over here. So this is just a simple overlay that I made. You just plus and then color source and just resize everything. The next thing you're gonna add is just title. So just add a text and then just position it on here. So this would be your typical graphic that you already made on Photoshop and stuff. I just made it on OBS. You can also do that here if you really want to make some simple stuff like this. And on the name, this is why I want to have your graphics with no name, because you're gonna add names over here. You can just change fonts if you want to and change the color. So if you want to change your name, you can just do that. So you don't need to work hard on making another graphic with a new title name. Instead, you just have to type. Sorry, I can't type while talking. You can just type the name from here, and you don't have to change anything. You don't have to recreate anything. Just change the name, and that's really easy. And that's that. By the way, this is a very short video. So now, how do we put that over here? Another question to this is, why am I not just adding the logo or the overlay within the live option? Okay, the reason for that is we have this thing called nesting. That's because if you remember, you just don't have one scene. You can have many other scenes. And what if on those other scenes you also need to implement this? Because what would happen is, if you copy everything and paste it in a different scene, the changes you've done from here won't affect the other scenes. That's the issue. So how do we put that on different scenes which has a global effect from here? So that's why it's called nesting. So here in your live or any scene that you want the lower thirds to appear, you just click the plus icon and then just click on scene, and now you just choose the lower thirds. And as you can see, the lower thirds has shown up. So any changes you've done from here, it will affect here, or any scenes that has a scene source, not copied from here. It's just a scene source. You're basically placing this one into a scene, a different scene. And another thing is, how can you add transitions and stuff? Well, of course, this is the new OBS, so we have source transitions now. Back then, we didn't have source transitions. Many people requested it, and it's finally here. So we can have a source transition. So a show transition, I place it in like 300. We can put like a swipe, probably from left. I would do it from left. And then you can have a hide transition, which is the same thing. So now when we enable and disable it, it will appear like that, which is very cool. And what I would prefer, a slide. There. I think slide was my first choice. I think it was slide, not swipe. So now when we do that, it will come from the right and go to the left. Now this is cool, and once you want to just hide it, there. Just lock it so that it won't be moved. If you want to reposition it, you can. If you want it to be a little bit lower, then you can. It still affects the same thing. So to prove that it will change, I'm gonna change it again to our pastor, and then MBT, and watch what happens when we go here. See, look, it's affecting. And by the way, if you resize it, it won't affect the other, because it won't affect the other stuff. If you want to change the position globally, you have to change it through here, not through each of the scenes. Go to the main one. So that's pretty much it on how to add lower thirds on OBS that is really functional and customized. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and leave a like and subscribe